Hi, Scott Orland of CINEMA-Magazin. I'm about to put my hands on an Oscar. Okay, it's Oscar Isaac, but it's Oscar.
Where are you going to put those hands?
Oh my God, this is going to take on a whole different connotation now for this video. The movie is called Operation Finale, although this year you're going to see a lot of this man for several other movies. Obviously, this movie is going to resonate to the viewers in Germany because it deals with a part of their history that maybe a lot of people haven't quite wrapped their heads around yet. Talk a little bit about that aspect of the movie, how important cinema is to showcase who we are, where we came from.
Well, yeah, it does exactly that. It showcases who we are, where we came from, but it also is a reminder that it's not just the past, that things like this are very relatable to what's happening now. You know, I think it's easy to think, particularly with Nazis, you know, and that term gets thrown around all the time just to mean evil, right? But actually, it was a movement of people that weren't just evil people. You know, it was people that wanted the best for their country, that had families, that, you know, that their loved ones, and yet they were able to be led by a demagogue into this intense racial hatred under the guise of nationalism, and that is always a possibility. And so for us, you know, portraying you know, the incredible job that Sir Ben Kingsley did at portraying Adolf Eichmann, where he seems like a human being, and then what Peter Malkin did, which was relate to him as a human being, not as an interrogator and a prisoner, but as a man. And I think that's a really important thing, because you can see that, you know, people that we know, you know, people can easily be led to think horrible things.
That's probably, when you see the movie, you'll understand one of the most fascinating aspects is that you would think there'd be so much anger and hostility, especially on Peter's part, but upon the other people who caught him, how to deal with him. And we see even the different people want to handle him in different ways, but the way that you had to nurture that relationship, even though the pain you were personally suffering, it's almost a battle of the wills. It was like, who is going to give in first?
That's exactly right, and that's, for me, that's why I wanted to do this movie, were those scenes. Just as an actor, I was so excited to figure out, like, what was happening in that room. You know, what he had to do in order to approach him and to talk to him the way that he did. You know, and not strangle him. Like, how did he get that restraint? It's beyond me. It's amazing.
What type of resource materials did you have? I mean, sadly, Peter had passed away. Were there documents that he had? Were there archival footage where you could pick up little mannerisms of his?
Yes, there's lots of interviews online that you can see, but really it was reading his book, because he's just so forthcoming with what he was thinking. Well, you know, he explains how he grew up and, you know, how he came to be the way he is, but really about the operation itself and what he was thinking in those rooms, and there was just so many wonderful things that we actually pulled from that and put into the movie.
And I'm always fascinated too when actors get to go to different countries and, you know, kind of immerse themselves in the real grounding of where a story took place. So what was Buenos Aires like? I mean, most people have never even been to this incredible city. How much did that lend itself? And you had to historically recreate stuff from the 1960s to get the right cars, to get the right clothes.
Right. So it's always an incredible thing when you're shooting in the places where it actually happened. It just brings the history of it. You know, it infuses everything with it. So we were really fortunate that we shot the whole thing in Argentina, and it's an incredible place. It has a very European feel for a Latin American city. You know, sometimes it feels very Italian when you're there, and even the way that they speak Spanish. And I really loved the people and the wine and the steak. It's a dangerous place.
I love it. It always boils down to food. Last question for you. You are not just an actor on your movie, you're also the producer. And there's a sequence in the movie that I understand, which I think has such resonance, and a lot of people are not going to know it. It's in the theater where the couple first meet. There's a movie playing up on screen, and that is the director's mother.
Yes.
In that movie. Did you guys talk about that? I mean, people are going to not even realize that's even happening.
Yeah, you know, we hadn't. I actually didn't know that, because that was something that was put in a little bit later. I think Chris always knew that that's what it was going to be showing. So it was so appropriate. It's the perfect movie to be playing, and the fact that it was his mom, I think it's just such a beautiful thing.
Well, you're a beautiful thing, Oscar.
Thank you very much.
And that's where my hands are. So they're totally safe. Thank you for Operation Finale. This is Scott Orland. Until next time.